Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to pick number 2. That's right, number 2 of my favorite rock solo albums of all time. 30 days here in the month of November, I picked out my 30 favorite rock solo albums by a prominent member of another prominent band who went solo for an album, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe they did it for the rest of their career, right? This particular album is the second solo album from this Irish guitar player, released October 1982, recorded at Townhouse Studios and Air Studios in London, England, produced by Jeff Glicksman for Virgin Records in the UK, Mirage Records here in the States. I'm talking about Corridors of Power by Mr. Gary Moore. That's right. One of my favorite guitar players of all time, the late, great Gary Moore, of course, formerly of Thin Lizzy, formerly of the Irish hard rock band Skid Row. He, of course, would go on to basically stay solo for the rest of his career. Lots of different lineups, lots of different musicians. Gary Moore always kind of reinventing himself early on. Heavy rock, hard rock, a little bit of metal, then went the blues thing, then came back to rock again. Gary's kind of before he passed away a number of years ago, was just constantly doing different things, working with different musicians, and that of course is the case on this particular album as well. Here we have on here Gary Moore on lead and rhythm guitars, lead and backing vocals. Neil Murray plays bass on the album. Tommy Iyer plays keyboards on the album. Ian Pace, of course, of Deep Purple, plays drums on most of the album. You also have Mo Foster plays a little bass on the album. Don Airey plays some keys on the album. You got Jack Bruce co-lead vocals on one track. Bobby Cuisinart drums on one track. John Sloman backing vocals on the album. Of course, John was also a member of Gary's touring band doing lead and backing vocals. And what do we have on this album? I still remember. I remember it very vividly. It's amazing how you remember certain things in your life from way back. I still remember the very first time I heard Always Gonna Love You on 101.5 WPDH FM rock radio in Poughkeepsie, New York, when this album first came out. And I remember thinking, the song, it's kind of like a ballady song, gets a little heavy, and then that ferocious guitar solo. And I remember hearing that on the radio saying, who the hell is that? And as a young kid, a very impressionable 16-year-old at the time, I was thinking, I must have this, whatever it is. And then I found that it was Gary Moore, of course, had to get this. And then next thing I know, I heard End of the World, and I heard Don't Take Me for a Loser. And then, before you know it, I'm just completely in love with this album and with this guitar player. And then, of course, I had to go, what else can I get by this guy? You blinked in Victims of the Future, that's Robin Trower, comes out not too long afterwards. And then it's like, I got to go find the stuff he played with Thin Lizzy. What else was he on before that, right? He played with Greg Lake too. Oh, wow, mind blown, right? So, yeah, Don't Take Me for a Loser kicks off the album. Great, great track. Good rocker. His guitar tone on this album just absolutely crushes. Always Gonna Love You, like I said. Some nice piano. Good chorus. Hooky. Amazing guitar solo. They do a cover of the Free classic Wishing Well, which is done really good. Got those air raid sirens going in there, the whammy bar, all sorts of stuff, really heavy. Gonna Break My Heart Again, another excellent, catchy song. Falling in Love with You, that's kind of like the wishy-washy ballad on the album. I remember back in the day, anytime I would start dating a new girl, I would make them a mixtape. I would always put Falling in Love with You on it. I know, kind of cheesy. That's what I did back in the day. Over on side 2, you got the Rampage and End of the World, right? With Gary singing alongside the legendary Jack Bruce. That's the big heavy metal cut on the album with this just amazing, blistering solo to lead it off, right? And that crazy solo in the middle with all these whammy bar things and air raid sirens and all sorts. I still listen to End of the World today and it sends chills up and down my spine. Rockin' Every Night is the blistering boogie hard rocker, and you got Cold-Hearted, slow, memorable, atmospheric, and then I Can't Wait Until Tomorrow, which is one of the great slow build songs in his catalog. I love the chorus, love his vocal on it, love the ending solo, just amazing. this is one of my ultimate Guitar Hero albums. Just so good, such an important part of my life. Corridors of Power, just excellent, excellent stuff. And so some of you might be asking, well, it's like, well, Pete, you included Gary Moore here, rightfully so, on this list, but you didn't include Robin Trower, you didn't include Rory Gallagher, and there's a reason for that. Because to me, Gary Moore's albums were all always solo albums. He generally always had different players on them, right? It's just like, I'm going to do an album, here's who I'm going to bring in, right? And each album was something different, each album was something, different players. Robin Trower went solo after Procol Harum and put together the Robin Trower Band. I mean, that was rock solid band there, right? Jimmy Dewar, originally for a couple albums, Reg Isidore, right? And then, of course, Bill Lorden. And that was the band. It was the same thing with Rory Gallagher. He basically had, he went and left Truth. I mean, yeah. And went and put together his band. And it was basically a solid band going forward. So, it's just... there's a difference. To me, those are bands. And Rory Gallagher's band was not Truth. I'm just begins with a T. I'm drawing a complete blank. I get the olds. Of course, I'm going to remember. As soon as I stop taping this, I'm going to be like, hold on. Taste. I had to go look it up. Sometimes you get early in the morning. It's just my mind's just not working correctly. But Rory Gallagher left Taste and went and put together his band, and that was pretty much a constant band. Other than a member or two changing. So that's why I didn't include them here. But that's why we're going to do a follow-up show in a couple of months where I'm going to talk about my favorite solo bands, right? Where it was actually a band spearheaded by one very memorable person, right? So that's why we're going to do that. But with Gary, I feel that most of his solo albums are true solo albums because he's just got different people always playing on them, and it's not like a rock solid band. It's like whoever he can get at the time. So that's why he's included here. But he's my number 2. He was almost my number 1. The number 1, though, it's number 1 for a reason. So anyway, I don't know if we have any charting. Yeah, we had a little charting stuff for this. In the UK, this made it to number 30 on the UK charts. Very cool. And in the US Billboard Top 200, made it to number 149. Right? And then Don't Take Me For a Loser, released in 1983 as a single here in the States, made it to number 31 on the mainstream rock tracks. Not too bad. No certifications. And of course, those of you in the U.S. are probably looking at this saying, hey, that's not the cover that I remember. It's not the cover that I had on my original slab of vinyl. It was kind of like purple, had Gary with this strobe light behind him with a Les Paul guitar. Here he's got his was that Charvel, I'm assuming, or a Strat, one or the other. Right, down this big corridor. So, and like I said, I really like the original cover from the U.S. version, but I think this Corridors of Power, I think this makes more sense because it is this like long corridor. So, and the remastered edition, of course, gives you the original cover. So anyway, let us know what you think of this album down in the comments below. I ran a little longer on this one because I love talking about this album and this guy. But as well as your pick for today, pick number 2. We got one more left. Tomorrow is number 1, and then we get started on my top 31 albums of 2023 countdown, which I know a good chunk of you here in the viewing audience probably aren't all that interested in, but that's what we do every December here on the channel. Because again, one of the most important things we do here on SOT is talk about new releases from new and existing bands. New music, promoting new music, helping promote the bands. That is the main reason why I do this channel. I know we talk about all sorts of other stuff that has to do with nostalgia and old classic stuff, but that's, I know the majority of the people who watch tune in for that. But the new stuff is very, very important to me and everybody else who participates here on the channel. So even though we might only have half the people watching every day, December is all about my top 31 albums of the year. Starting on Friday, which is December 1st, will be my number 31. I still haven't finished my list yet. I'm going to be up late working on that tonight. There's still stuff coming in, right? I'm just going through because I keep a track of all of my highly rated albums throughout the course of the year. It's well over 100. So I've got to go through and weed out, ones that, and I got to just say, okay, well, that one's got to be here somewhere. And then I got to pull out all the 31 that I think are the upper echelon. Then I got to put them in some kind of order. which is just ridiculous, right? How can you really, really truthfully rank 31 albums that are so new to you? It's hard. That's why we've been doing this on SOT way before the YouTube channel. We've been doing it on the webzine for almost 20 years, and it's real, actually over 20 years, and it's just really difficult. It's really, really difficult doing a top at ranking album of the year type of thing when you have all these albums that are like so new to you. But we got to do it, and we do it year in, year out. So join us starting Friday morning here on SOT, my top 31 albums of the year across all genres. That's also difficult because just so you know, I mix everything up. It's all mixed up. It's a top 31 overall, but then we're going to do a top albums of the year for in the prog seat. So I got to pull out my top 5 prog albums. We're going to do it on Hudson Valley Square. So I pull out my top hard rock and metal albums. We're going to do it on the 4 Fusion Friday. So I got to pull out my top 5 or 4 as we generally do on there. Fusion albums. We'll do something on the UK connection, I'm sure. So it's crazy, right? Anyway, that's all coming up very near future. So for today, Gary Moore, Corridors of Power. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, all together, all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alerted of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below, we get the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, our merch page, and our Cameo page. Thanks for so many people have been requesting Cameo videos over the last week. It's just crazy ever since like Thanksgiving. It's just been boom, 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 one after another. I have fun doing those. So if you want me to do a personalized video for you or a loved one, maybe you're a wife or a girlfriend whose husband or boyfriend watches us every single day and you want me to wish him a happy birthday or a happy holidays or a happy anniversary or whatever it might be, or maybe you got some musical questions or you want to tell me a little bit about yourself and I can comment on that, whatever. That's all what people are doing. So anyway, thanks in advance for all your support in all those areas, and we'll see you soon here with more stuff. I am Pete Pardo. Tune in tomorrow for number 1. But it's also Wednesday. And you know what Wednesday is? New review day here on the channel. Should have a whole bunch for you here today. So thanks in advance for watching all those, and we'll see you soon. I am Pete Pardo. Enjoy your day, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.